There we go. Fish on. Don't know if it's a bass or not. I think it's a bass. First bass of the day right there. Is it a smallie, a largie, or a spot? Looks like a smallie. Fighting like one too. It's a smallie. Come up here. And I still got my worm currently. But there we go. First fish of the wade fishing mission is a nice little smallie, probably like a 10-incher. We've seen a couple of nice ones swimming by. We haven't been able to hook up with yet, but that is a good start. Hopefully we'll be able to catch all 3 species out here today. But we'll send this one back. And we'll get back after it. That fish is already back over there. He's like lightning. There we go, that's a good bite. I don't know if it's a bass. It's a bass. A little guy, a little smallie. Little smallie, about half the size of the last one I just caught. He bit it good though. I thought it was about to be a big one. We're in some deep water right here. And I was expecting to get a big bite. There's still a chance of me catching right here though. This pool is big and it looks really, really good. But there's our second fish. Toss him back. Just a little smallie. Put this thing right out in the middle. See what happens. All right, we're hooked up. Camera wasn't rolling, but we got a nice fish. Really nice smallie. Like this is the kind of fish that we're absolutely after out here today. Come here, big guy. Oh, it's a nice smallie. Golly, jump again. Come here. Woo. There we go, look at that one. Look at that one right there, guys. That is a beautiful smallmouth bass. That one's gonna be like almost 2 pounds. Swapped up to a little Ned rig. This is a little tadpole looking thing. Uh-oh. You got another good one if you're hooked up. You got a smallie? No? Oh, shoot, there we go. There we go. Look at that, put those two side by side. Got a nice smallie, nice largie.
That's some good ones.
Those are some good ones right there, guys. All right, we're sending this guy back and we're gonna catch some more. We're in a good spot finally. We'll see you, guy. Caught him on this little Ned salamander looking dude. I've tried a bunch of different things, a bunch of different little wacky worms and shaky heads. But as soon as I put this thing on, I started getting bites, a lot of follows, and I might throw this for the rest of the day. There we go, that's a good one. Big one. Big and decent one. Stay on there, big guy. He looks green to me. Yep, we got ourselves a green one. Oh, it's a spot. It's a spot. It's a spot. Oh my gosh, he just like blew up with crawfish. That was nuts. Okay, there. There is my first spotted bass of the day. He's a nice little pudgy one. Threw way up underneath a little shade line underneath the tree, and he bit it as soon as it hit the water. That is a nice one. All I have to do now is catch a largemouth. My dad caught a largemouth, so we've caught the slam, but I need to catch a largemouth for myself. We'll see you. There we go. There's a good bass. Nice smallie. Nice smallie. Seems like all the fish we're catching are coming out from underneath logs. We get by some chunk rock, not really catch nothing. Get by just some deep mud flats, nothing, but we get by a log. Almost always catch one. We'll send you back. Got him. Got him. Oh, there we go. There's my largie. Yes, sir. I did it. I did it. Took me a while, but I finally caught all 3 species of bass that live here in this little river. And that's a pretty good one. It's not the biggest fish I caught today, but probably the second largest. I saw him hiding up underneath the little shade line, and I drew him out with that little Ned bait, shook it right in front of his face, and he just went down on it. It's a beautiful fish. And we will see you when we see you. He's coming to you. Snatch him up. All right, guys, so unfortunately, today's video had to come to an abrupt halt, and let me explain why. So we spent a lot of time out in the river today, hiked a very long ways, probably over 3 miles, maybe close to 4 miles, down to our stopping spot, which was that area where I caught that last little largemouth bass to round out my little bass fishing trifecta for the day. But anyway, so we got down there, and we decided to start hiking back to the vehicle because we were going to try to hit up another spot on the river to try to round out the day with some more big fish. We caught a lot of fish in this little stretch of the river, but what y'all didn't see was a lot of small sunfish, green sunfish, long-eared sunfish that we caught, as well as a bunch of small bass. So we were thirsty for a little bit more quality of fish, so that was our intention. But another thing that I need to mention is that the location where we actually had parked the truck to access the river was one of the most sketchy, most backwoods in the middle of nowhere, put in spots that you can imagine whenever you're gonna go, river wading. This trail, this road is, miles deep in the middle of the woods and is laced with some of the deepest, most muddy ruts and potholes and steep drop-off edges, and it's really tight. There's a lot of branches coming in on you. It's a really well tucked in little location. And honestly, we probably shouldn't have driven all the way down there. We almost got stuck a few times going in. We should have parked about halfway up the road and then walked into the river, but we decided to send it, and we made it down to the river's edge. But that ended up costing us, because as we got back to the truck, started loading our stuff up to head back in, or to head back out to another spot on the river, we turned the truck around. We started making our way out from where we had parked at. We had to go through a big sloppy mud hole and barely made it through it. And then we got to this portion where the road was very, very narrow. It kind of curved, and then on the right side of the truck was a very steep drop off, like 8 to 10 feet, maybe even a little bit deeper, I don't know, but straight down to a creek bed, and the bank had been eroded away from some rushing water over the years. So very steep. And on our left was kind of some guardian trees kind of leading us out, but it had a little bit of a bend, and it was really tight. Like the road width was about the width of the truck. So it was a tight squeeze, but it was kind of the only way out, because if we backed up, we were going to go backwards through some mud. We probably were going to get stuck in. So in our mind, we have to go forward if we can. So anyways, my dad asked me if we were good on the right side, and I was like, I don't know, to be honest with you. So I got out of the truck and looked at it, and right beside the truck, we had about a 2-foot clearance window. So I was like, okay, we're good. It's tight, but it's good. But this is where I messed up, and I had a really bad mental lapse, and I wasn't really looking out in front of the truck of where we were going as much. I just kind of was looking at the side, and also the truck was kind of at an angle, and I couldn't quite see what was ahead of us in the very near future, which saying out loud doesn't make any sense. You should be able to see what was going on. But basically the road had a big dip in it, and it washed away, to where if you go forward anymore, the front right tire was going to slide off the edge of this little drop off and down into the creek bed. So I'm watching my dad. I'm like, you're good. He's going forward a little bit, and then I could see as the truck starts to turn that there's that drop off right there, and I'm like, oh snap. So it's like my mind is going really fast, but my words coming out of my mouth are coming out really slow and really quiet, just because I'm so tired, and because I was just so mentally and physically drained from the hike that we had just done. And I couldn't get my communication relay out fast enough or loud enough for him to hear, and down his truck went over the side of this drop off, and it was not good. And the only reason why the truck didn't end up flipping and going all the way down to the bottom of this creek is because we bottomed out. The back left tire was up in the air. It was a really bad situation, and we knew that we had messed up. So obviously we were frustrated, because all we really wanted to do was just get out of there and go fishing some more. But there was literally nothing that we could do about it in that moment. That was the absolute worst place to be in that sketchy situation. We had no cell phone service.
you know, we're like, who's going to be able to come back here and get us? You know, nobody's going to be able to get back here. So anyways, we ended up walking up the road a little bit. My dad got up to where there was some cell phone service. He called his wife, my stepmom, Missy, and she came and ended up saving us. But the whole ordeal from the time that we got stuck to the time we were rescued, we were out there kind of stranded in the woods for a couple hours. And, you know, it's just not a good feeling to be stuck in the middle of the woods with your truck, you know, barely hanging on the edge of a cliff. But this was definitely up there with one of the most ridiculous / just awful fishing fails that I have ever had to take part in. It was just so dumb, but I'm just glad that everything turned out as good as it did. You know, we ultimately did not flip and roll over all the way down to the bottom of the creek. The truck was able to get unstuck, and we all survived to see another fishing day, which is all good. But anyways, before I sign off, I would love to hear some of y'all's worst fishing fails. I know that y'all probably have some really funny stories, so leave those stories down in the comment section for us to read. We would really appreciate and enjoy that. And also, if y'all enjoyed today's episode, do us a favor, hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out any of our future fishing and crazy outdoor adventures. I'm Cole Harkin, and I will see you on the next one. Bye, guys.